Welcome, warriors.
Yay!
How are we feeling today? How are you feeling today, Abby?
Neutral?
Okay. I don't know what I was
Yeah.
expecting, but it wasn't that.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
like lots and lots of things, but at the core is neutral. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the
Yeah.
umbrella over all the millions of things, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like not good or bad, not high or low. It's just kind of like
Right. Like
riding the
there's
plane.
loads of feelings that I could
Mhm.
add, right? Like I'm excited connecting with you. I'm joyful doing the podcast. I probably have some things I need to think about getting done,
Yeah.
But the core is neutral,
I
which is
like
good
it.
because it's not always neutral.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever used that word to describe how I'm feeling to anyone. Interesting. I like it. Neutral.
How are you feeling?
All right. I'm a little buzzy today. I've been for the last like week or so. But I think part of it is just exhaustion. It's just like a little bit of mental exhaustion and like buzzy anxiety below the surface kind of like hum going on. And I can't pinpoint from what or why or whatever, but
Yeah.
it just feels like Bertha's just hanging out with me today. She's just hanging out.
You you understand what I mean when I say neutral at the core, right? Because in the core, there's like that little buzz going on.
Yeah.
Right. That hum that's happening at the core. Right. It's not just like the feeling.
No, I didn't realize that's what you meant by that.
No, for you. Isn't it like at the core, there's like a little buzz, a little.
Oh,
energy?
yeah, pretty much all the time. Yeah, pretty much all the time. But so like it just feels like, so to me, I would say if I'm going to use neutral as like the baseline, right? Like I'm above neutral. I'm like my emotions are a little bit more heightened in like the camp of worry, a little bit of worry, seeds growing a little bit. So, but who knows? I can't, and I always wind up trying to think about like, where is this anxiety stemming from right now? But I've been actively practicing lately, just noticing the feeling in the body and trying to get out of my mind more often. And it does usually help me feel less buzzy quicker.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say the same and then I notice that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And but overall, I feel like it's better sometimes, or at least for me and my type of anxiety, to bring it back to the body as often as possible.
Yeah. Because it's often just the head. Yeah. The head's just bouncing around thinking all these things. And it's like, oh, wait, I have a body. When I bring it to the body, it like anchors us into the present. Okay.
Speaking of the body, today we are doing our next installment of
Mundane Anxieties.
Woo, there it is. We're going to be chatting about clothing, things we wear. I love whenever I say the topic, it's a spectrum of just like, there's like the sounds for when like, it's like, this topic's great. Or maybe all the topics are good in some level, but it's like, I'm excited about this topic because I feel generally okay about this thing. And then there are the sounds that you make that are just like, oh, I can't with this thing. And I never know what I'm going to get. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. It's more often than not a grunt of some kind.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad to know that so many of our topics.
It's usually like an ugh or yeah. Oh, so usually, well, I feel like maybe it's less of a sound when you're excited. It's more of like a yippee or it's like a happy word or happy sound.
Or maybe there's no sound when I'm less displeasured.
Undispleasured. There you go.
Yeah.
Grammar queen over there.
You know me.
Oh, yes. We're both super up on making sure everything's grammatically correct. I hope you can all just feel the drippage of what's the word?
Sarcasm.
Oh my gosh. Can you tell that it's almost summer?
Yeah.
Tell that it's almost summer. All right. So for our mundane anxieties topic today, we're talking about clothes.
Yep.
What it feels like to need new clothes.
Yeah.
How do we relate to clothes as kids? How does our clothing tell the world about who we are, where we're going? And
buying clothes.
Yeah. Right.
Getting rid of clothes. God saying goodbye to some clothes. Yeah. See?
Here comes the grunts. All right. So what is like, let's hop back in the time machine to childhood. Like, what was did you have a style, or was it just like, hey, it's the 80s? Hey, it's the 90s. Like, what was like shopping like for you as a child?
Um, you know, that actually like is like brings up some stuff. Like you probably meant that in like such a harmless way.
I totally did, but that's so interesting.
Yeah, like I had to buy the knockoff of shit, right? And so like if my friends had new Keds, I don't remember caring about Keds. So this is just an example, right?
Yeah.
Like I had to go to like what was it, Payless? Was it Payless that had the knockoff stuff?
Pretty much the cheapest shoes on earth, right?
Yeah.
Payless. The most painful shoes on earth.
And so I would get like the knockoff Airwalks. Airwalks, remember those? I would get the knockoff Airwalks. And so like, that wasn't fun. But my style was nothing, right? I mean, I definitely like in middle school wore the pair of boxers over my underwear, but underneath my pants. Because that was stylish.
Obviously,
yeah. I think they were like plaid green boxers, right? Men's boxer shorts.
That
right?
was the popular color. It was either some kind of hunter green or like Christmas red.
Yes. So I was a little stylish. I also wore the very oversized Looney Tune shirts.
I mean, I think those were required.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I also did have like the oversized friend shirt and the 90210. Mine would have Jason Priestley on it, So I would say my style tried, but I definitely was not stylish.
I feel you.
Yeah. But I would say in my older years, like teens, late teens, 20s, 30s, the actual shopping for clothes has always caused me a lot of stress because of my height. It's very, they do not, like, sure, petite has become more of a thing and juniors, but even then it's like, so it is like I have to plan like shopping for an entire day to try on like hundreds of pairs of pants to find like one or two that fit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's the,
yeah.
What about you growing up with clothes? I feel like you were stylish. You are.
Oh my God.
You don't think so.
No.
I think you are stylish.
No. Okay. Yeah. Well, if I'm stylish now, I which I don't believe that I am. I think I know how I've grown to understand my body and what's flattering for my body. Right. And so like, there's that. I don't know that like I'm picking out things or I'm just like, oh, that, I pick it out because I think it's pretty or it's cute or it's, whatever. Yeah. Or I think that shape, or I've come to learn, right? That shape looks good on me, right? This length looks good if it's a skirt or a shirt or whatever. And so like there's more of just like I've grown into an understanding and like that kind of relationship with clothes and my body. But going back to childhood, I definitely so what you said about like knockoffs, it wasn't that I had to, right? Like my parents, I grew up comfortably, very privileged in most ways. But my parents were also just like, we're not going to spend money on something that you're going to outgrow, which I completely understand. And B, like, just for the sake of like, everyone's family, I think, had like where they thought the money was best used.
Yes.
Right. And so like, clothing was never really like a top priority, especially for a growing child, right?
Right.
And like you said, I don't ever remember being a kid that was like, I want X or I'm desperate for X. And like, not until middle school. And I really don't even think in middle school, really high school, I think was when I was like actively looking around at what my peers were wearing and saying, I want to wear what my peers are wearing. I don't remember having that in elementary school or middle school. Right. I just remember like, I fucking hated shopping.
Yep.
I hated it. I hated when I knew that it was coming up. I would do everything I could to try to avoid going, to delay going. I just hated the store. I became like a nightmare in the store too. Like if we were there for too long, which probably was like 8 minutes, and I was just like complaining and just like wanting to sit down. It is exhausting. It's still exhausting as a grown-up. I don't remember how I got through that. I have a lot of compassion for my mom, especially.
Yeah.
Bringing me shopping, and probably my siblings too, because like, and for all parents out there, people, caregivers that have to dress children, it seems like a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
It really does. It seems like it's a shit experience. So if you're a parent or a caregiver out there and you have to dress children, shop for them, with them, oh my God, I have so much compassion sending your way. But I feel like, and I have this one funny, like I jokingly call it a traumatic story, but it's not traumatic at all. My dad says to me one day, "Hey, hon, let's go shop for some dungarees." You know the phrase dungarees?
Mm-hmm.
Denim, right? Jeans. Mm-hmm. I didn't know this phrase or this word as like a 9-year-old or however old I was when this happened. I don't really remember. I was in elementary school and I was just like, okay. Like, and in my head, I'm thinking of like something that's like food related, or like, it just sounded fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask what it was.
Oh, there were Dunkaroos. That was like a food. That was really
I thought
good.
about that, but that's not what I thought he was talking about, because I knew what Dunkaroos were. But I was like, this sounds fun, like Dunkaroos. I'm like, maybe this is just like, but I didn't ask. I was just like, okay, like, let's go on a little adventure with my dad. And we wind up at like fucking Macy's. I'm like, what are we doing here? And I was like, you fucking lied to me. I didn't say lie. I didn't say fuck. But like, I was like, you lied to me. He's like, yeah, I said we're going to get dungarees. I'm like, what are dungarees? It's like, they're jeans. And I was like, why do you want to shop for jeans with me? And B, like, no. So I was just like turned around. I'm like, let's go home. Ugh. So like, it was like a joking traumatic experience, but I don't know. And I do remember it from a young age though. I always used to flip through like the Delia's catalog. Do you remember Delia? And that's where I got most of my clothes. I didn't really, once I hit like middle school and high school, I refused to go shopping. Going to the mall was just for hanging out with my friends and like looking at toys.
Okay.
And like going to the movie. Like that was not, we didn't go like buy clothes. Like, yeah, I did randomly get like shirts or stuff from like the Limited 2. Remember Limited 2?
Yeah, I do.
And like 579. And like, what were all the other stores when we were kids? Oh, I can't think of them. I can't think of the rest. There are so many that are not around anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say Forever 21, but that's still around.
Yeah. Abercrombie's still around.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, a lot of them sadly are still around. Some of them are not. But I switched to like that version of online shopping.
Wow.
Which was just like my mom would call. Yeah. Because there was no there was no website for Delia's. She would call and read out the store, or not even store. She'd read out the order, like the item number to the person and give them my size.
You have to like fold over the magazine, like, or the catalog and circle the thing you want and make sure you get it all. Yep.
And that's how I shopped, because I hated it.
See, nothing ever fit me, so I couldn't do that.
Everything fits me. That's one thing I will say. I'm very lucky that like I'm of, a specific size and height where I really
You're average.
Very rarely have an issue. I'm so average.
You're average.
You're extra and I'm average.
Yeah. I'm short with really big boobs. That's hard. That's hard to buy stuff. Tops and bottoms.
No, that's true. I'd always been a slight person, like small, no boobs, but that never mattered because I could wear small fit, small pants, sometimes medium, depending on the waist, right? Or the depending on the length of the, the bottoms too. But like more often than not, same thing with shoes. I'm a perfect size 8. When I was in school, I was like a perfect size 7. So like I didn't have to deal with half sizes or any of that.
Shoes I can buy online. That I can do. I'm a perfect 6 right now. Like that I can do.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's stressful for a lot of people. I'm sure so many warriors are just like I know my mom has this issue all the time. She's always having to go search for shoes, and it's about comfort versus look. So like, all right, let's talk about like the stress of like showing up in the world. Or does this not ever get to you? Or did it ever at any point in your life?
What am I going to wear?
What am I going to wear? Or like, how am I being perceived? What kind of a look is this?
Dude, before meeting Dan, I dated people. Do you know what dating and outfits are like?
No, I don't.
I know. Yeah. Yes. How am I going to be perceived? Like, totally. Right.
But I get that though still. Forget about dating. But yeah, I mean, it's like, you're still going outside. and there's going to be people there.
Yeah. Or like meeting new people for the first time, or friends, or teaching, or this or that. You know, I will say there was a period in my life where all of this was less stressful. And that was the period when I did a lot of kickboxing. And I took a lot of pride in my body, and things fit better, and shopping was easier. And so I felt like I could wear more things that felt stylish, right? Because I felt good in my body, and I liked the way those things fit on my body. But for most of my life, I have not felt that way. And post-pandemic, I do not feel that way. And so I am just like wearing leggings like 95% of the time. And when I'm feeling fancy, I finally found a pair of jeans that fit, right? As I long for the jeans that used to fit me, that, you know, I need to lose weight to wear again. But so the, how am I going to present myself? Like I used to care a lot about, but because of the pandemic, and because I've put on weight, and because I'm 40 and I care less about what people think, like now I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know, right? Okay. I care more about how I look for me. And so that part's super hard, is like I've become the person, and I hate to admit this, but I also am okay admitting it because I think it's good to be honest. Like I'm the person that now has to look at pictures taken of me and be like, oh my God, I look awful, delete it. I've like barely ever been that person, right? But because I've put on weight, and because I don't like the way my clothes fit me these days, that is like something I don't really care what other people think, but I care what I think. And I, you know, so I have to look a certain way in photos for me to be okay with other people having them.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's my long-winded way of sharing how I feel about presenting myself to the outside world.
Yeah.
I used to care, and now I don't. But I care what my world.
But you still care about it from your perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting that you brought up like the photos thing. Like I listened to a podcast not long ago, and they were talking about pictures and how like it was a construct in this country to smile for pictures, that like and the same thing is true right now, not even just like back when, like at the height of like, you know, when people were like literally at the beginning of migrating to this country, versus, you know, in countries that are not melting pots or whatever, that like most of them are just, you look at the camera and you don't smile. And that smiling was a symbol that was adopted here because of letting the world know that you were happier.
Wow.
Right? Like the outer perception of happiness for having come to America, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
But how like just the thought of, you know, these moments are captured in time. Like I can think of a million pictures of me where I'm just like, oh my God, I've done that exact same thing, but I've always been like that. I've always been my whole life. Look at the picture and delete it if it's bad. And it's like, but that all stems from how I feel. Like you said, it stems about how I feel I look in a picture or in a moment or in an outfit or whatever.
Yeah.
And less about what anyone thinks. It was never about like, if someone saw that picture, they'd think I was ugly or this or that. It was always, I think I look like this. And so, but I've always been like that. So that's interesting. But so yeah, you sharing that made me think of that. But I think it's normal to some extent that like the older we get, sometimes we either care more or care less, right? About clothes, about style, about how things fall or fit on us or whatever. And yeah. So like it's interesting because I feel like what I heard you saying was that you don't care anymore, but yet you do care. Like you said, you don't care, but then there are parts of what you said that sounded like you do care.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a weird balance, which I feel.
Right. And it's very, I mean, my clothes and my shopping and my, you know, decluttering, like is all very connected to my body. Right. And so if I'm not happy in my body, it's less easy to be happy in my clothes because it's like, oh, no, I don't wear this size. Like I wear it right now, right? But I've never worn the size before. I'm not going to wear it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah. No, I love that word. I love that word.
For you, how do you feel about getting rid of clothes and buying new clothes? Because another layer of, aside from the body for me, and aside from like, hoping I lose weight right now, or, whatever, is another layer is our planet. And I really don't like fast fashion where you just are always getting rid of stuff, right? And knowing that it's just ending up in like landfills, right? And then just buying new stuff that like I'm going to get rid of. So there's always the overthinking of how bad do I need this, or how much do I want to get rid of this?
Yeah. No,
So
I feel that.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I have a weird time letting go of clothes, even if I haven't worn them in a long, long time. Sometimes even years, right? So a lot of times it's because of nostalgia. Even if it's like something that doesn't fit or has become discolored or stretched out or like whatever. And it's just like, oh, I'll just wear it to bed. I'll wear it to sleep. Right. But then like every year I wind up changing out of my bureaus. I take out like my winter stuff and like warm weather stuff and flip flop it for the cold weather stuff.
Yep.
And just because we don't have that much storage in our bedroom, like for all of my clothes. And it's just like, well, that's some freaking information right there too, right? It's like, and every season I wind up getting rid of a handful of things.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that each year I buy less new stuff than I used to.
Yeah.
So like in my 20s and even in through most of my 30s, every year I would get rid of stuff and then I would wind up buying new stuff and replacing it with new stuff.
Yeah.
But the older I've gotten, the more likely I am to get rid of stuff each season when I swap out my clothes and not buy new stuff. Maybe like a couple of random things, but like for like a special occasion or something specific.
Right.
But generally I'm not just like, oh, well, I got rid of stuff, so now I need to buy new stuff, or now I've made space so I can buy new stuff. And yes, it does go to the environment stuff for sure. Like I feel like I think less about it in terms of like the landfills. That doesn't come to my mind like at the forefront as often as it sounds like it comes to the forefront of your mind. But I do think about the idea of like throwing something that's still usable into the trash.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm thinking less about the end game of where it'll wind up and more just about like the act of putting something that's still functioning, right? That doesn't have holes or like, pit stains or whatever, like directly into the garbage. And then my thought is always give it away, donate. But then a lot of those organizations are shady, or, they say that their clothes are going to one thing, but they're not. And so like for the longest time, my mom was working at the nursing home. Me and her and my dad and like any of us in our family would just give her the clothes, and she would give it to a lot of the aides who had children or whatever, or like, children in their 20s, or they would bring it to their church and distribute it around the community. And so like I felt good about that, but like my mom isn't working there anymore. And so we don't do that anymore. And so like now I'm just like, what do I do with this thing? It just feels like it feels more wasteful somehow, even though it's maybe just as wasteful to throw out a perfectly good pencil cup holder just because I don't need it anymore. But like that's also made of plastic or whatever. Equally harmful to the environment, but I have less qualms in my own head about throwing that out than I do about clothing somehow. I don't know why. I don't know why. I think, no idea.
No,
How about you?
I agree. I agree so much on that. Like I definitely, when I buy stuff, I'm asking myself, like, is this something I, not need, right? Because like I probably don't need a lot of clothes, right? But like, am I going to wear it? Is this something like I need right now because I've put on weight or something, and like, is this something I'm going to keep a long time, or is this like something that just is catching my fancy right now and I'm going to wear it a handful of times? But no, it's like, it's very bad to throw fabric out because a lot of it has dyes, and the dyes can leach into the ground and everything. So like, I do give a lot of thought of that. Dan and I are part of this recycling company that recycles things that are super hard to get recycled, like styrofoam, like plastic, like clothing. It's called Ridwell. And so we like opt in for them to pick up our stuff. And one of the things they pick up are like fabric and clothing and stuff. So instead of putting it in the garbage, they're able to recycle it to help out with like couches and, like reusing it for other stuff, right? They repurpose the fabric.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm just like always overthinking that stuff, because I don't want to add more waste to the world, because I don't want to spend more money on stupid stuff. Right. And so, I'm holding on to clothes that don't fit me now because I hope they fit me, but also because like, I don't want to just put more waste in the world.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so like here's another random question about clothes.
Okay.
Like, do you stress about like you have something specific to go to or to do? Like, so less about work, right? Especially with our line of work or whatever, but like you have a wedding or some kind of special event, even if it isn't like directly related to like your immediate family.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens with you during that time? Is that stressful? Does that produce anxiety, or is that not really a thing? Like trying to figure out like how to dress or
oh my God. Yeah. Trying to figure out how to dress is extremely stressful, right? Like I kind of wish that I was kind of like Steve Jobs. Didn't he only wear the same outfit all the time? And he had like, 10 versions of the same outfit. Like I kind of wish I could do that.
Or like Elizabeth Warren, when she was in the campaign trail, she always wore like flary leggings with a cami and a different cardigan.
Perfect.
It was like everything under this cardigan is the same exact outfit.
I mean, that's really what I need, right? I just need to like be the person that's okay wearing the same exact outfit no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not there yet. But yeah, no, like shopping for like, weddings or parties or, like thinking about what to wear if I'm going to like a show, right? Because really, I just want to wear my black leggings that have pockets, right? I think that's one thing I won't buy anymore. I will not buy leggings if they don't have pockets. That is like a vow I've made to myself. Not wasting money on that. I need to have pockets. Pockets are important to me. Pockets are important to me for multiple reasons, but one is to screw the patriarchy.
Yep.
Right. But also they're practical, right? Why don't women get pockets? So anyway, I would love to just be able to wear, I have multiple pairs of these black leggings with pockets. And I would love to just wear those every single day to every single event and still feel cute and good and professional and, take me seriously,
yeah.
But I know I can't wear my black pocketed leggings to a wedding, unfortunately. So yeah, getting dressed really, and especially since the pandemic, since I've put on weight, it's actually way more stressful and problematic than it's probably been like any other time in my life.
Have you been to a lot of things during the pandemic?
No,
I was gonna say no. That is more about just like your everyday clothes still for that.
Oh, right? My everyday clothes, I just wear leggings every day.
Yeah. All right. So I meant more of just like like special occasions or
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Back in the day, I mean, the shopping was like annoying because again, I'm short. And finding cute outfits in petite is really hard, especially in my 20s and 30s. Like, I could get like outfits that were made for like, 60 and 70-year-olds that were in the petite section, right? But to find like hip, cute outfits that would fit me in my 20s and 30s was an exhaustive process.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I don't know, I just try to wear the same stuff, but now I just feel like I look like a thumb in the clothes.
No, you do not.
I do
not look like a thumb.
Whether I just look like it or not, I feel like a thumb in a lot of my outfits.
Okay. I had went to this like workshop not too long ago, and it was about how like it was about using your clothes, right, to change the way you feel, basically. And I thought it was actually, and I've always had, or I shouldn't say always, since I got into like the workforce, I had fun buying clothes for myself generally.
Yeah.
Yes, I have the luxury or the privilege or whatever to have clothes fit me pretty easily or whatever. And so like it became less stressful when I got older. And so even now, I don't have a lot of stress when I do need to buy a fancy dress or clothing or whatever. I know, as I said at the beginning, I know myself. I've come to like appreciate the little, the way that I dress and be comfortable and accepting of it. Right.
It all looks good on you. Whenever I see pictures of you in dresses, I'm like, fuck, I wish I looked like Margot and wore those outfits. I do think that. Not in a hate way, in a like a adoring love. I wish I could wear these cute dresses way.
You're way too kind. And I'm sure that you could, it would just take a lot more effort for you to find the dresses that would fit, right? Your size, your height, your larger chest and all of those things I don't understand. And so so I get that it's got to be so much more energy, right? You have to use so much more energy to shop for things, even in person, online, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I feel like so anyway, let me get back to this workshop that I went to. What I found really helpful and interesting was like, she was talking about how she has this closet, and we were talking about not being wasteful or whatever, filled with things that would be deemed like for special occasions or or fancy, right? Or whatever. I mean, sure, she had her lounging around clothes, and like part of her story was that, she'd been part of the corporate America for a long time, and then she became a stay-at-home mom. She's got two, small kids, and she started dressing like super comfortably all the time, which I mean, I can imagine as a stay-at-home mom or as a mom in general, like why the fuck would you want to like get dressed and like do all the things when you are just like going to the pickup line at school and not doing a lot, a ton of else. But she started, when she had this aha moment, she had this mindset shift of just like, but I'm showing up for my life. Right. And so like the way that I dress can have an impact on how I feel about myself. And so she started putting more energy and emphasis into like putting herself together, right? Like doing her hair, doing her makeup, putting on the fancy clothes that would be deemed fancy clothes for, I mean, maybe not ball gowns, right? But like clothes that maybe she used to wear in like her corporate America job, but like in her regular life, right? As a mom. And I just loved that. And it's stuck with me since. And I'm just like, I've been playing with the idea of like just putting clothes on that make me feel good in my body, no matter what my body looks like, right? No matter the moment. And taking the time, and yes, it takes time and energy, right? To like do the things that I do know make me feel good when I am dressed up.
Right.
But like practice doing that more often during the week.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just so like our work is so like yoga pant oriented.
Right.
Literally.
T-shirts.
It's like we're wearing t-shirts and like, comfortable clothes to be on a yoga mat or doing chair yoga or whatever, or over Zoom, like all day long with students in schools or public spaces or whatever. And it's just like, you're not going to wear your freaking fancy pants or my dress, right? So when I'm not at those things, work things, I'm trying to actively like have more playtime and fun with my clothes. And it helps my mindset a little bit. I'm not telling you that you should do this, but like, it hasn't hurt me in the long run to be like, once a week, I'm going to like put on normal clothes that people that are out working day jobs might wear, and just like see how it changes my mood or energy. Sometimes it doesn't. And I turn back around and I'm like, I can't wear this today. This was not a well thought out plan. Other days I'm like, I feel pretty fucking badass right now. Or I feel like I'm confident. It's like improved my confidence or something.
Yeah. No, I feel that. And I feel like I've heard things like that before. And I think that if I was a little less weight and could wear some of the clothes that I really do like, that I just don't fit into now, I feel like I would probably wear those things more often. Right. But because the things I really like to wear, I'm a little too big for right now.
But what if you bought new clothes that were super cute?
Were you here for the beginning of the conversation?
I was, but like,
you remember when I texted you about trying to buy jeans?
You're not honoring who you are right now, though?
I tried for days, like hours and hours and hours and hours to buy jeans. And finally I found a pair. But do you know that also I don't like wearing jeans? But
jeans are the worst.
Yeah. Let's talk about sensory issues in clothes too.
Please.
Yeah.
All denim is evil to me.
See, now I used to have jeans that were like jeggings that were like pretty comfy. Really, I don't fit into those, and I can't find any anymore because, okay, wait, let's talk about one other thing that we haven't talked about.
Okay.
Dumb styles.
Okay. Elaborate. Okay.
So when I went jean shopping with Dan, because I was like, you know what, I would like a nice pair of, evening jeans for when we go out on the night on the town, right? Take those black leggings with pockets off and give me some good night jeans, right?
Good night jeans.
And we were shopping for jeans. So the in style right now is jeans that have pre-cut holes in them everywhere.
Yep. It's like we had to work hard to get those holes in our jeans naturally.
Those happen naturally from living life. I am not spending $50, $70, $100, $150 on jeans that are cut up. That style is dumb.
Yes.
Take it away.
Or, I mean, it's just not for you, right? Like, I think it's dumb too, but it's like, they don't need to go away, I guess. Just like,
give me some options.
Have some normal jeans too.
Yes.
Right.
Because even if they're not ripped up in the knee and the thigh, like a style, then they cut them off at the bottom. Do you know what? I always used to have to cut off my jeans at the bottom because I was short. Right. And so I never fit into any jeans. And so as a grown-up, I would like some jeans that are properly hemmed at the bottom and not cut off for style because it takes me back to like 8th grade. And I don't like it.
Did you ever tailor any of your clothes? Or
no,
do you?
Because after you do that, they don't fit right at the bottom. They get all weird with shoes. And when you buy them for, the way that they are. And then you like cut the bottoms, or you don't cut the bottoms because you finally find a pair that fit. Yeah. So when you tailor, it messes up the bottom.
I don't know.
Of jeans.
I was going to say maybe not so much with other pants, but it's like this thing that we have to wear every single day of the week. It's like, can be the source of so much stress and frustration.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't even want to buy new clothes, but I need to buy new clothes, right? Because my clothes don't fit. And then I go and I'm like, okay, these styles are dumb. It makes me feel old.
Yeah.
Right. And nothing fits. So I have to invest a whole day being in a mall shopping for stuff when nothing fits. Right.
I want to go back to what you just said. It makes me feel old because I feel like that's this other thing. It's like half the time, some people are just like from afar, like that person's like 20 years old, just like based on what I'm wearing sometimes. Yeah. And then I get closer, they're like, okay, that's an adult. Right. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's like I feel like we're in this weird age too, where like the styles that I like aren't necessarily for 40-year-olds.
I know.
But then it's like, who made these fucking rules that like, if you're over 40, you should be dressed more like a woman, or like
you should wear a muumuu
one way, or
like you're over 40, like just wear a big brown bag. Come on.
But I find myself randomly like judging other women or whatever. Sometimes I'm just like, look at that woman. Like, and sometimes it's like, I'm like, fuck yes. Right. I become that person more too. Or like if I see an older person just like wearing something that I feel like the patriarchy has told me since childhood is deemed inappropriate for their age category.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, bitch, get it. You look hot. You look great. You feel good. I can tell you feel good in that. Right. Like whatever. But then other times I'll randomly see something. I'm like, that woman should not be. Right. And it's like, I need to check myself so often. And men too. Trust me. There's plenty of men out there. I'm just like, what the fuck are you wearing? But it's like the how quickly we can go to judgment too about who people are, the kind of person they are based on what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but like at the same time, it's like, but that is how you're presenting to the world. I think about that sometimes. I'm like, oh God, if I were just like randomly looking at me, would I be thinking like that person shouldn't be able to drive her own car? Because sometimes I'm like,
if you're wearing pre-cut jeans, that's what I'm going to judge you for. I'm going to be like, you're ridiculous.
You will never see me in jeans ever again. I wore my last pair of jeans at like the age of 26. I refuse to wear jeans. They're the most uncomfortable material on planet Earth. I don't know why I forced myself to wear them all the decades prior. But at some point I just hit the point where I'm just like, I'm more comfortable in like skirts and skirts and like I just do not like. I'm sooner to wear a dress than I am to wear pants too. Like if I'm wearing pants or shorts, they have to be soft as fuck. I am not wearing something that makes my skin
with
crawl.
The
and
button that's like shoving into your stomach and like
and God forbid you sweat a little bit, right? Like the top band of the jean. And like, I can't imagine like people wearing jean jackets. I'm like, I look at jean jackets. I'm like, that looks really cute. I wish my skin would allow me to wear a jean jacket.
I used to wear jean jackets.
My skin immediately rejects jean jackets.
Yeah. I like jean jackets. I mean, I haven't worn one in a long time, but when I worked at the Gap, I had jean jackets and
jean jacket staple.
Yeah. I'd wear that with a pair of khakis. Come on. I was like rocking it in our 20s.
I could see you in a good jean jacket. Most people, I feel like I get why it's a wardrobe staple for so many people. I just hate it so much. That plus I feel like I would look like a total fucking idiot in that because it doesn't feel like me, right? It's like maybe it would look normal, although I don't think it would. But like I would be presenting as if it's not normal. So I think it would wind up looking bad because people would be like, that person looks uncomfortable. And so like, I think it would wind up translating to that doesn't look good on that person because I would be looking so fucking uncomfortable. I can actually feel my skin crawling thinking about jeans. I really hate denim, which is why, like, I'm telling you, my dad traumatized me with that dungaree thing when I was a kid.
We're going to have to change that up. We're going to have to find something awesome that sounds like the word dungaree. That's not dungaroo.
I feel like it's dungaroos. I miss those.
Yeah.
They still make those?
Probably not.
Probably because they're so bad for you. Although Oreos are pretty fucking bad for you. And they still make those.
Yeah.
All right, warriors. What is your relationship to clothes? Do you have an anxiety-filled relationship with clothes?
Is it as complicated as ours?
Yeah, right. And is it as lifelong? Has it changed, across the decades for you? Do you feel like you know what kind of style is yours? Do you feel like you're always questioning your own style? I know I feel like I'm questioning my own style sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I have a really set style, and then other times I'm like, who the fuck am I? I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like,
and I feel like that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but it isn't always fun. Is your relationship to clothing connected to how you feel about your body? Right. As we both kind of shared in different ways here. Has shopping been a challenge in all of your years? Shopping. Are you a strictly online shopper for clothes? Do you have little ones that you're, raising that you have to not only worry about clothing yourself, but you have to clothe them as well? And they're growing and, changing selves and the latest trends and styles and all the things. It just sounds so exhausting. I know we're exhausted. So parents, caregivers, we can only imagine how exhausted you must be by clothes. Or do you freaking love clothes? Do clothes light you up? Is this like one area of your life where you don't feel like you have any anxiety with it, warriors? So interesting. We'd love to hear from you about it.
Yes.
So email us, anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your relationship to clothes. And is it mundane? Maybe it's even bigger than mundane.
Yeah.
We always call things mundane that happen to everyone, right? Like people need clothing.
Yeah.
And so like, that's what makes it mundane, but maybe it feels bigger than that to you.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe you really care about the planet.
Maybe.
Yeah.
More than me, apparently, at the moment. I do my best.
We're judging you. We're all judging you.
I know. That's okay. Yeah. You always inspire me, by the way, when it comes to all that stuff. You wind up planting, of all the anxieties I have, and I have a lot of anxiety about the state of the world.
But you
always no, but like you wind up talking about things that I need to think more about sometimes, right? And it's like I feel like I don't think as much about. I think more about like this on the small scale of like what my climate change impact is.
Yeah.
And less about like the grand scheme, right?
Yeah.
And like and the greater impact. And so
yeah.
Well, I wasn't saying that to make you feel like you should freak out about the fact that you give me more anxiety. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's just that I find myself more thoughtful because of the way you talk about it.
Thanks. For me, it's like, there's an overwhelming amount of things we're learning about our planet and the love our planet needs. And it's so much so that it's like, oh, I can't do anything, but I can do small things. I can find out places that will take my clothes and repurpose it rather than putting it in a landfill.
Is Ridwell a national thing, or is that just local to where you are?
I know they started in Washington State and then they did move to Colorado. And I think they're trying to become more national. My assumption would be the next place they would go would be New York, right? Or California. But yeah, it's just like finding, and they like pick it up, right? And like, anyway, so it's,
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Little things we can find to do.
It's good. It's good. I like it. All right, warriors, so think about it.
A win of the week.
Win of the week. I do have a win this week.
Oh, yay.
Yay. Last week, I was listening to my hero, Glennon Doyle's podcast, We Could Do Hard Things. And she had on a fabulous guest. His name was Ross Gay. And he was talking about basking in daily delights. And it reminded me a lot of our mindfulness practice, right? And the way that we practice pausing to revel in a moment, whether it be an uncomfortable moment, a wonderful moment, right? Something that feels like a core memory, something you want to hold on to or savor for longer. Anyway, and so it really inspired me to create this little Instagram challenge where I invited my community to, look for delights in their life, big or small, and try to look at big and small delights with the same wonder and curiosity and just like actively revel in it. If they wanted to participate at least with it via Instagram, they could snap a picture and like add this hashtag Daily Delights Challenge. And so many people, you were one of them, embraced it for those 5 days. And I got to just feel really warm and helping to remind even just a handful of people to like pause. And that included myself. And so I was grateful for the podcast and the reminder of like, yeah, you're a mindfulness teacher. Yes, you're pretty, I feel pretty strong about it. But like this was a nice new level to it because it was about delights. It wasn't just like actively notice how you're doing or a situation or a feeling. It was more like look for the joy. Yeah. Right? Like be intentional with looking for the small delights, big and small. And the one pattern I noticed, which brought me the most amount of delight, was that most everyone's pictures that they shared to their feeds or Insta stories were really small things, like their child giggling or like the sunset. And it's just like, it just was a great reminder that like all of the most important things in life are usually free and that we have access to them, right? If we just look. And so it was a really big win for me this week, just getting to re-engage with my mindfulness practice and with my community to encourage them to just like bask in those yummy little delights. Big and small.
Yeah. And I appreciated it because like it's the pausing and acknowledging, oh, I'm delighted right now. Right. Yeah. Like, because we might be feeling delight, right? It might, something might be delightful, but to actually pause and add that savory moment to it, I really appreciate it. So even stuff like, we all know I don't like, social media and Instagram, but I found this really funny reel that totally delighted me and I tagged you in it. Yeah. And like it made me like, it reminded me like, oh yeah, I do get like delightful content that like just warms my heart up. Right. And so, but I had more than just that reel, but so I appreciate it too. It was a win that rippled out for other people to win too.
Yes. All right. That was my win. Thank you for being here, warriors. We love you so much. If you'd like to connect with us for any reason, you can join our Instagram fam. We're at Anxiety Warriors Podcast. Or you can shoot us an email at anxietywarriorspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your big or small wins of the week. Share any topic ideas that you have for us, things you'd like to hear us chat about on the show. We'd love to hear them. Or if you think you would be a great fit as a guest, or if you know someone who would be a great fit as a guest on our show, let us know. Shoot us an email so we can connect and get you on the calendar to help you tell your story here on the show. Please take a second and smash that 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening right now. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the show on all of these platforms. And if you're feeling generous, you can grab yourself something fun from our Threadless shop. That link is in our show notes. And throw a couple bucks in our pocket. That'll be our big ass delight. Daily delight. I mean, I will allow the fact that you use your win of the week sting for daily delights, but I think you should work on it. It needs to have its own. We'll work on it together. We'll collab on it.
Yeah.
It needs its own something.
Yeah. It worked because it was the win. And that would be a delightful win. Yeah.
But maybe we bring it back here and there and it gets its own thing.
Daily delight.
Yeah.
What's been your daily?
Another what? What did you say?
No, I was gonna say what's been your daily delight? Like a win of the week and a daily delight. Yeah.
I like it. I like that.
And then we'll go to like magical moment. Right?
Ooh,
like we have the
win girl.
Of the week,
the
daily delight.
Oh, my alliteration buttons are lit up right now. Oh, warriors, you know how much I love Alliteration. What? That's a delight right there. How much I love alliteration is one of my own Margot delights right there. I find that little weird idiosyncrasy to be delightful. All right, warriors. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you all so much. We're so grateful we get to do this with you all.
Till next time.